Hey guys, it's John with Cheap Old Cars and Audio. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to sit here and spin around in a circle, and we're going to talk about lots of Mustangs. um, so, there's a reason it's called Cheap Old Cars, and I want to get into why I have a little car collection and how you can maybe get yourself a car collection, or if you wanted to, maybe just one nice car. Because I think three of the cars I have, if I sold them, I could buy a really nice Cobra or a really, really low mile Z06 Corvette, like a C5 Z06. I would even be approaching a C6 Z06. That's the 7-liter one that is amazing. So first, let's talk about the first car we got. Let's spin around this way and look at this red V6 here, okay? So this car we bought in 2004. My wife actually bought it. It's a 2002 V6. She bought it in 04. Her grandmother helped her sign for it. And we really love that car, yeah? It's a great car. It's been around forever. It's in here while there's a Bullet and Mach 1 sitting outside because this has a lot of sentimental value. This is the last car we'd ever sell. If we had to sell all of our cars and we were down to one, this is the one that would remain. Okay? We love it. Now, we paid $22,000 for it because we bought it almost new. Now, I do think she paid a little bit much. That's neither here nor there. That was literally 21 years ago. So we got together in 05. I helped her pay it off. And yeah, I had a little bit of a truck payment for a little while too on a used truck. But yeah, so that's how we got that one. Then we didn't have any other Mustangs. I had an old Trans Am that I had bought when I was in high school, 77 Trans Am, and then I had an 84 F-150 that I bought from my dad for not much money. I sold both of those and was able to get my dark shadow gray Mach 1 that I had. Now, eventually I traded that for a truck and sold the truck and roundabouts, all kinds of stuff. But I took some of the money and I got this one right back out here. Let's put this over my other shoulder. So the dark Highland green car. Now, that was some work on previous stuff that I did transfer into that, but I didn't have to take a loan for a little bit of it. I think $2,000 or $3,000. I don't remember exactly now. It's been quite a while. I've had this car for 6 or 7 years. I think it was $3,000. It was because it was $2,000 I needed and $1,000 I just got extra for parts. So how I did that was it was the first time I ever took a personal loan. Now, a personal loan, I actually went through a company called Lightstream, but there are different companies you can do personal loans through, a lot of them. It's essentially like a credit card, right? It's unsecured debt, meaning that if you don't pay it back, there's nothing that they can come after you for in terms of collateral. And so it's harder to get, but if you have decent credit and stuff, you can typically get an unsecured loan. I don't recommend doing them for a high amount because the interest rates are usually extremely high. Okay, so then my wife and I were going to college and stuff. We were getting tax returns and things, so paid that one off pretty quick. Few years later, okay, we'll spin around this way. I got this guy. Ooh, that sounds bright. The 2001 Blue Bullet. All right, this was a dream car. Always wanted a Blue Bullet. I'm having to squint now. Geez. And that car, I think I paid $10 for this one. Now, this was the height of the COVID, everything used went up, everything new went up. And so that, I probably paid $1,000 more than I should have for it. However, I've done well on it because since then, I've gotten offers of 13. And so for a 100,000 mile Bullet, that's not bad. For this one, I wasn't really prepared for it. It wasn't like the other cars I've bought where I have a plan, I'm selling stuff, I'm transferring money around. It wasn't anything like that. Straight had to do a personal loan for this one, okay? Here's a Jeep. Wait till they go by. Anyway, so straight did a personal loan for that one, 10 grand. No extra money for parts or anything, just got the car. And I've got it paid off now because thankfully, and again, the personal loans, I'm not like recommending that. It's how I did it. And I did it because this one, mainly because I was working in a job where I was getting pretty good bonuses every year. A lot of jobs don't do that type of stuff, and I don't recommend doing the personal loan thing. Like I said, there's high interest, so I don't recommend doing it unless you have a method of paying it off pretty quickly. But it's a way to gain, if you do have a method of paying it off quickly, not paying a lot of that interest, it's a way of gaining access to a chunk of money that you might not have sitting around. And so $10,000 on that one, paid it off in 2.5 years, I think, because I was getting decent bonuses at my last job. Now, the next one, all right, we'll roll back this way. The Blue Mach 1. Now, we actually got a pretty good deal on this car. A lot of people aren't super interested in those. People love the Mach 1s, right? There's even guys that are like complete straight F by the guys that actually like the Mach 1. Wait till this loud one with the trailer drives by. See, the thing is, this microphone has some noise canceling stuff, so I don't know how much you hear of that. I guess I'll see in the footage. This car is an auto, right? And people love the Mach 1, but no one likes the auto cars. And I don't mind it because I'm not drag racing, and I'm not taking that car out and doing hardcore cornering with it or going to the track. It's a cruiser. It's mainly my wife's too. Like, I had my dark shadow gray Mach 1 in the past, and it was a 5-speed. It was super fun. This one is for me and my wife. She wanted she's had this red V6 that's over here. She's had that car forever, and she wanted a V8 Mustang. Cool, let's get you a V8 Mustang. And then I'm wanting another Mach 1, and this is the color I always wanted, the Azure blue. And then so she said, she's like, can we do a compromise? And we want, we get an auto. And I was really against it for a little while, but it's whatever in the long run. I've still got these two, bullets that are manual transmission, and this one has 410s, so it moves along pretty good. It's quickish. The green one, if y'all saw my last driving video with it, it's not very quick in a straight line. It is still fun though. So anyway, she said, can we get a blue? She's like, blue for me, or, blue for me personally, and then auto for her, right? And she goes, I have one more kind of stipulation. I said, okay, what's that stipulation? What do you want? And she said, I want an 04 specifically. I said, okay, why? Why do we want the 04 specifically? I was so proud of her. Guys. She goes, well, didn't you say the 04 has different something on the heads and the spark plugs don't have a problem? She remembered that much, and I'm very happy she listened to me that much. And I said, yes. I said the 03 has a 4-thread spark plug hole in the head, and they can strip or they can blow out even. And the 04, they changed it to a 9-thread, so he actually has 9 full rotations of the spark plug, and you don't have the problem with the 04s. I said, but the 03s have the black valve covers, and these have bare aluminum valve covers that end up looking kind of nasty. Her response to that is, let's get the 04, and she goes, and I like the badge. And so I'm going to show you that real quick. We'll get up on it here. The 04s have the 40th anniversary badge. Now, there's a 40th anniversary package, right? Not all 04s are 40th anniversary package cars, but they all have the badge. The package is actually pretty cool. There's one in town, and I kind of want to buy it. They came in, what was it, white, black. Oop, camera got all weird on me there. They came in white, black, or this maroon, kind of burgundy maroon color. That burgundy color was only available on the 04. Now, they all had gold stripes. So whereas, I'll show you this red car here. See, it has its stripes down here on the side. The 40th anniversary package had what they call, I don't remember, Arizona beige, I think but it looks like gold, okay? So it has gold stripes on the side, and then actually 2 gold stripes on the hood and on the top of the trunk lid. I'm looking at this car here. So, and on top of the trunk lid. No, but they're not on the roof, okay? They also had export mirrors, also known as 0304 Cobra mirrors, the folding mirrors that are painted and have a little bit different shape to them. And so, to me, that's a cool package. The wheels, too. The wheels were like the Bullet 5-spoke, the torque thrust style wheels, but they were kind of a bronzy color. I really want one of those cars just to have it, just because it's different. Anywho, all that aside, I'll talk about this stuff forever. That's the 40th anniversary. But this car, I'm looking for, at this point, an 04 blue auto, okay? I look it up online. There were 282 of them made. And I'm like, that's a big bug. It was one of the horseflies. I'm looking at this going, there's 282 of these made. Like, this blue Bullet back here, I had so much trouble finding it because they just weren't for sale for the longest time. After I bought it, then a bunch came up for sale. But for the longest time, those things that is a huge fly, as big as my thumb. These things just weren't for sale. And so there's 722 of these blue Bullets. I'm like, there's 282 of these. Oh no, this is going to be tough, right? So I get on the Mach 1 pages and Mustang pages and stuff, and I put a feeler out. And I said, hey, I'm looking for a very specific car, blue, auto, Mach 1, 04 only. Okay? I thought this was going to be tough. I got 2, right? Somebody's like, hey, here's one in Oklahoma, because I told people I'm in western Arkansas, but I'm willing to drive. So they're like, here's one in Oklahoma. So, okay, I reach out to this guy in Oklahoma. He doesn't reply. And I got this other dude in New Mexico hitting me up. And he's like, I'll make you a good deal. So, okay, what's a good deal? He goes, I've got a car. He said it has been repainted and the repaint's not the best. I mean, that's it. It doesn't look that bad. But there are a few places where, like, there's one of the fenders where it looks like they did a blend that's not that great. He had pictures of the car beforehand. It was a West Texas and New Mexico car, so paint just got really faded, and it sat outside for a long time. But the car's got it had 87,000 miles on it at the time. And I'm like, okay, it's an auto with 87,000 miles. It's been repainted. Maybe it's not a $9,000 or $10,000 paint job. Maybe it's a $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 paint job. But I bet it looks pretty decent. And being that color doesn't have metal flake in it, I can pull a panel off and respray a panel. I can actually paint that car panel by panel as long as the temperature and humidity on the days I paint are pretty similar, and it'll look fine, right? Maybe I can see a little bit of difference, but not many people can see that type of stuff. So he offered me $9,000 on it for 87,000 mile car. 87,000 mile manuals were going for 13-ish at the time. Okay. And so I thought, okay, I'll do it. It's the car I want. There's not many of them. And he had a little bit of trouble selling it because he was in Alamogordo, New Mexico. And I mean, the quickest way to get to Alamogordo is to fly to El Paso and drive north. It's in the middle of nowhere, right? No one wanted to go there for this car. And so I'm looking at it, I'm like, maybe I could talk him down a little bit more, and $9,000's still a pretty good deal, I feel, but maybe I could get a little bit lower. But then, somebody's pulling in. We'll do this in a sec. We just got a food delivery. I didn't realize we were having stuff delivered. So anyway, thinking about talking the guy down a little bit more, thinking maybe I can get it for 7 or 8 or something. I don't know. I mean, that would be pretty low for an 87,000 mile Mach, even right now. And so I was like, hey man, started to talk to him a little bit, started to kind of hint around at it and throw out that maybe I was thinking about a little bit lower because I got to drive all the way and all this stuff. And he said, tell you what, he goes, I was thinking about keeping some of the stuff for my next car. He goes, but I'm not sure I'm going to get another New Edge or SN95. He goes, so I'll throw in all my extra parts with it. And so that was an extra radio, an extra set of leather for the seats, front and rear. Now, it's not new. It was out of a 30 or 40,000 mile car. The guy with that car saw his leather starting to get the little stress cracks and stuff, but not cracked all the way through, but like the proper kind of stress stretches and stuff in leather that you get if you take care of it properly. And it started to get that stuff, and so he pulled all the leather out of his car and got new leather from TMI. And so this guy that had this car, he had bought that leather from that guy, and it's like, okay, so now I've got a full new set of leather, and that one kind of needs it. They're fine. If I was going to put it in shows more often, I would go ahead and change them out. But now I've got a full set of leather with the car too. Extra headlights, extra tail lights. It came with an extra set of aftermarket rear lower control arms. I don't know what brand they are, but they're an extra set of those. Came with a ton of LED, different upgrade things. I'm trying to remember what else. There was more. I think I had 2 sets of wheels for it. I think, if I remember correctly. No, I didn't. I didn't end up coming home with both sets of wheels. So I took a set of wheels with me off of the red car. And because the tires that he had on the factory, I wanted the factory wheels, but the tires that he had on the factory wheels were old, so I took a set with me. So anyway, got 1 set of wheels, which is fine. I'm trying to remember. There was more. I'm looking at all my parts and stuff up there. Fog lights. I think there was an extra steering. I don't remember. There were a lot of parts. I should have made a list of it. Now I'm not remembering, but that was over a year ago. But there was, like I said, the full extra set of leather and a ton of parts. And in my head, I'm like, all right, this is a good deal. Let's do it. So we jump in my truck and we slide down to New Mexico and drive this thing home for $9,000. And so now I've got 4 Mustangs, right? The red one, that was purchased on loan and paid off over time. The blue one back here was, again, I didn't say how we paid for that. That was one of those, what's the word I just used a minute ago? Personal loan. That was a personal loan as well, right? And I knew that I would be getting a pretty good bonus that year, so I paid it off with my bonus, and that was pretty cool. So that's paid off. They're all paid off. Also, I want to point out the other thing. They're all paid off, but I don't just have, I mean, they're cheap cars. I don't make a lot of money. I don't make any money right now. I'm just doing this YouTube thing, and I'm not making any money doing this, right? So I don't have a job right now, which, I mean, with the experience and education I have, I can pretty easily get another job like I had get back into six figures if I need to. I don't really want to. I really don't want to. I didn't like doing that type of stuff. Spreadsheets all day. I don't mind doing spreadsheets all day, but it's the people I got to do spreadsheets for that are a little bit frustrating sometimes. And so, if I don't have to do that, I won't. But I will if I have to, because obviously I got to provide for the family. So, I was in a position where I could do this. But let's say you wanted one of these, a cool car. Let's say you want a C5 Z06, which that's a dream car for me. I want a C5 Le Mans edition, Le Mans commemorative edition, which is blue with the stripes on the hood. It was the first mass-produced car in the U.S. to have a carbon fiber panel. The hood on those are carbon fiber. And I think it's a really cool car, right? So I want one of those really bad. But how I typically do this, like I said, I get a personal loan with a plan to pay it off quickly. And being in the job that I had, which I know was a good paying job, and that it had the bonuses and stuff, which a lot of people don't have, but that was my plan. And so I also want to point out that all this stuff didn't happen at once. Now, I have 4 cool cars, and I know there's a lot of people out there that would be, just envious of like one. There's like, I want one cool car. You got 4. And then there's people that have way more than me or way more expensive cars. If you add up all the value of all of them, people have like obviously way more expensive cars. And so I'm not saying I have amazing stuff or anything like that. But what I'm saying is what I have could be what someone aspires to. But also understand that the red car we got 21 years ago, okay? And the green car out here, right? I picked that one up in 2018. So that's 7 years ago now. And then this car here, I bought 2 or 3 years ago. I take that back, because I was in the new job and I was making good money. It might have been 2022, so it might be 3 years ago, right? And then this one we bought a little over a year ago. And so with a plan to pay them off quickly, I still paid interest. I still paid interest on those loans for a little while until I got them paid off. But 4 cool cars. It happened over 20-something years. I bought other cars in between there and different things and moved stuff around. But, yeah, just get a plan. That's kind of the thing here. You get a plan, work it out, and eventually you'll have that cool paid-off car sitting in your garage. And you'll be like, yeah, I got it. That's awesome. And people will be like, dude, how'd you get that? That's a really cool thing. Like there's people that drive by here and slow down. They like take pictures and stuff, because there's sometimes 4 Mustangs sitting out here and they're all lowered and on cool wheels and stuff. And, that makes me proud in a way, because, life is not about the things. The things are fun. I'm a Christian guy, and so my life is about living for Jesus, living for God. And this stuff is fun on the side. But it's cool when people are like, dude, how'd you do that? Like, 20 years of work and figuring it out, and I can have 4 cheap cars. Anywho, so that's it. That's the cheap old cars. And I haven't covered much audio. I think I have 1 audio video on the channel. And I didn't want to post more audio stuff because that video wasn't doing very well compared to my other videos. Now, I'm only getting 100, between 30 to 100 views typically on my videos. But that video wasn't doing great. But it slowly built up over time, and it's got decent views on it now. So I might post some more audio stuff pretty soon. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, come back for more. I'll be talking about cars a bunch, because I can apparently ramble forever about this stuff. Have a good one.